In a single fleeting moment just before disaster strikes, a camera captures what the world will soon lose forever. What if we could unravel those stories together? Join us as we uncover the untold stories behind moments captured in time. The event where tragedy struck on August 22, 2015, was a traditional air show held in Shoreham, West Sussex. A vintage Hawker Hunter jet preparing for the spectacular aerobatics crashed as it did not maneuver up enough and plunged on the A27 Avenue. The crash shattered lives, claiming 11 victims and leaving a community in grief. Amid the destruction, the pilot survived, a man whose story would later unfold in the media and courts, his life forever marked by the tragedy he narrowly escaped. The crash not only affected the local people, but also raised the issue of safety measures involving air shows in the country, as well as internationally. This historic jet, once a pride of the British aviation industry, transformed into a symbol of loss and mortality. Such was the grim reality that families of the victims concerned were left mourning instead of a day that was supposed to be fun and filled with rush. This event should always be a wake-up call to those who want to engage in stunt flying over how dangerous the act is and the resulting effects it has on the progress of history and humanity. It was another ordinary and joyful day when on April 28, 2023, the new spouses, Samantha Miller and Eric Hutchinson, suddenly experienced the loss of a loved one. When they finally left the place after the wedding in Folly Beach, South Carolina, they unfortunately came across a golf cart-style vehicle in which they were riding at the time and was hit by a car whose driver was later identified as a drunk one named Jamie Komorowski. Samantha, who was dressed in her wedding gown, died in the accident, as did other passengers, including Eric, who was seriously injured. In the wake of Samantha's death, a young life snatched away from the cusp of joy, her tragic end called for a deeper reflection. How quickly the line between celebration and devastation can blur, reminding us all of the dangers lurking just beneath the surface of our most carefree moments. Samantha's life was a true tragedy because she died at the wedding, often considered one of the happiest days of one's life, leaving her family members, friends, and husband in despair. Such incidents give a face to the figures, reminding the people of the need to exercise caution in their choices and the calamity of a single reckless decision. There is a photograph that depicts President John F. Kennedy and First Lady Jacqueline, full of joy and smiling before the dark happened in Dallas, Texas, on November 22, 1963. The motorcade was moving down the street in Dealey Plaza, which was filled with people who came to see the popular leader. A lot of joy and happiness turned into tragedy when the gun was fired. As a result, they lost the 35th President of the United States. This assassination did more than shatter the optimism of the moment. It altered the course of American history. The photograph of Kennedy and Jacqueline looks more like a hope and promise of his presidency, while images from the aftermath of his death convey despair. Jacqueline Kennedy, though deeply affected by the loss of her husband, remained composed and dignified throughout the ordeal, embodying strength and grace. The event sparked numerous conspiracy theories, reshaped conversations about security, and forced Americans to confront complex issues of leadership, trust, and legacy. It also reminded the world of the transient nature of political power and how quickly legacies can be altered by unforeseen tragedy. On the 13th of October 1972, Uruguayan Flight 571, with 45 passengers on board, which was a rugby team, their relatives and friends, crashed in the merciless Andes Mountains. 37 passengers and 8 crew members were on board when the impact occurred, but the survivors' battle was not over yet. For 72 days, stranded in one of the world's most unforgiving landscapes, the survivors endured not only bitter cold and hunger, but also the crushing weight of knowing that without rescue, they had no chance of survival. Their battle wasn't just against nature, but against the slow erosion of hope as each day passed. Finally, 16 people were saved after 2 men risked their lives and walked for several days searching for help. This is the story of the miracle of the Andes, which shows that life is cheap, especially when a person survives a terrible crash only to die of hunger and cold. Yet, one has to face all these and more to come out alive. On Wednesday, 3rd of April, 1968, standing on the balcony of the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee, Martin Luther King was surrounded by civil rights campaigners. Hosea Williams, Jesse Jackson, and Ralph Abernathy. It was bonding and focused as they were in Memphis for a common cause, to drum up support for striking sanitation workers demanding better pay and respect. However, just one day later, King himself was assassinated on the very balcony, giving the nation and the entire world quite the upheaval. King's assassination was a major setback to the fight for civil rights in the United States, since it was the loss of one of the most influential leaders of the movement. These struggles for equality without the use of force have already changed the social and political systems of America. It is common to take a photo hour before the man in the picture met his untimely death, yearning for justice and change. King's legacy remains relevant today and helps keep the struggle for equality in people's memory and the losses that were made for this cause. An accident occurred on August 1st, 1943, when St. Louis Mayor William Becker and 9 other dignitaries met their demise. During a demonstration flight at Lambert Field, they took off, and shortly thereafter, while soaring at a low altitude, the right wing of their glider collapsed and caused the glider to become out of control and to fall. Regrettably, all 10 passengers perished in the crash. The flight was meant to demonstrate the capabilities of air travel during the war, which was revolutionizing technology and transportation through World War II. Instead, it served as a grim reminder of the dangers inherent in early flying and the vulnerability of even the greatest human endeavors. The loss of Mayor Becker and the others on that fateful day not only left the city in mourning, but underscored a bitter truth. Even the greatest advancements in technology carry a hidden cost, a reminder of the fragility of progress. On the evening of November 30th, 2013, Hollywood actor Paul Walker and his friend Roger Rodas had a fatal car crash in Santa Clarita, California. Both were in a Porsche Carrera GT, a car with the same model as the Carrera S but which has extra 10 horsepower and an extra $70,000, when the car, which was driven at a speed of 94 miles per hour, hit a tree and exploded. The accident surprised fans globally because Walker, who starred in the Fast and Furious series, symbolized fast-moving cars and cool automotive culture. Walker's death occurred while he was lending his star power to a charity event for his own organization, Reach Out Worldwide, which provided aid to communities in need. Ironically, it was during his commitment to helping others that tragedy struck, a cruel reminder that sometimes life's most unexpected moments come when we are least prepared. Although the cause was blamed on high speed, the accident highlighted several issues to do with high-performance automobiles and dangerous driving. Paul's death became an event that people, fans, and the film industry still remember. The unpredictability of life is terrible. He created a lasting impact during his life by being a humanitarian and in the form of entertaining car and adventure movies. San Juan, Puerto Rico was the scene for Carl Wallenda, a renowned circus performer and the owner of the Flying Wallendas, around March 22, 1978. Famous for his death-defying stunts done without the use of a safety harness, Wallenda was walking from one tower to the other, which was 121 feet, when the disaster occurred. A horrible accident occurred while he was sailing due to the strong winds when he lost his balance and fell down, leading to his death at age 73. For decades, Wallenda mesmerized audiences with his fearless stunts, a symbol of human bravado and the spirit of adventure. But even the most daring performers cannot outrun fate. His fall was as inevitable as it was tragic. This accident left a lasting effect and continued to remind the circus of the dangers that were associated with this profession. Wallenda's spirit of bravery and adventure continues to live on through his family, who still perform high-wire acts today. High school senior Carter Christensen also died June 1, 2023, after falling over 100 feet off the Flatiron Rock in Boulder, Colorado. In the days prior to the event, he He had posted a picture of the climb on his social media account. Carter believed in going to high grounds, such as the so-famous Rock of Love in the movie, and decided to climb it barehanded, and ended up dead. The Flatirons give visitors an eye-pleasing view while climbing, and as a result, it attracts thousands of visitors every year. But they do so at the same time as they point the viewer to the potential risks inherent in free climbing. Tellingly, few in Carter's family amongst his friends or the surrounding neighborhood are depicted to respond to his death with anything but disheartened sadness. Carter's death, captured in his final moments, is a painful reminder that nature's beauty can be as dangerous as it is awe-inspiring. His tragic fall underscores the need for caution in every adventure we undertake. This is Coldwater's story, which is a sad and doleful tale of adventure where Carter had driven a stake into those who dare conquer the world and the dangers that lie in wait beyond that world. In September 2002, 23-year-old snowboarder Marco Siffredi prepared for an audacious feat. Pulling off a snowboard straight down Mount Everest's Hornbein Couloir is one of the most crazy stuff on the big screen. Though considered the first to snowboard from the Norton Couloir on Mount Everest in 2001, Marco wanted something more. Something bigger. He had summited the mountain and started descending, but he was unfortunately lost during the process. Alas, even after exhaustive efforts, he never recovered from the scene of the unfortunate mishap. Along with Gonzalez, Marco pioneered the spirit of extreme snowboarding and never hesitated to perform dangerous stunts. Mount Everest was the final challenge with its sparse oxygen, harsh weather, and vertical rock faces. Siffredi's disappearance on Everest was a devastating loss to the mountaineering and snowboarding communities. His unrelenting pursuit of the impossible would ultimately become a haunting legacy of the mountain's indomitable power. To achieve great things, one must be willing to take risks and strive beyond the boundaries. However, as the case of Marco demonstrates, risking one's life should never be the ultimate goal. His legacy serves as a symbol of human endeavor, adrenaline, and the secrets of the mountains. It was intended to be one of the most romantic periods of Steven Weber's life, but on August 19, 2019, he embarked on the journey. Once, on a vacation in Tanzania, meeting his girlfriend, he swam back to their hotel room, which was floating due to the floods, with a note and engagement ring. He was to propose marriage to her in an unbelievable manner as he came up from the waters. Sadly, Steven failed to heave himself up to the surface. He died in the water, and so his romantic act remains unfulfilled. What was meant to be a romantic gesture, a proposal to the woman he loved, turned tragic in an instant. The loss of Steven Weber is a reminder of the fragility of life and how quickly love can slip away, leaving only heartbreak. From this story, one can understand that adventurous moments are dangerous, and it is moments between danger and romance. It also itself our time is limited, and the message is passed on that we should always embrace life and the ones we love before it is too late. On September 11, 2001, at approximately 8:30 a.m., photographer David Monderer captured a tranquil image of Manhattan from the pedestrian crossing at the Brooklyn Bridge. It was a clear morning, and all the buildings and skyscrapers of the city did not foretell the tragic event that was to transpire next. Just 16 minutes later, at 8:46 a.m., the world would be thrown in a new direction as American Airlines Flight 11 crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center, impacting floors 93 to 99. Monderer's photo, taken moments before the catastrophe, can be a sharp contrast to the calamity that happened. This shows the serenity before the storm and the confusion and destruction that ensued shortly after. The tragic event that occurred on that day, known as September 11th, became not only a turning point in America's history, but the history of the whole world. The photo depicts a slice of a typical day before the storm that swept through and disrupted everything, but the determination that emerged after. It was on the night of August 31st, 1997, that Princess Diana, before her untimely death, was photographed romancing her companion Dodi Fayed in Paris. The couple was trying to elude the persistent paparazzi that was following them all night long. While trying to escape the lenses of the photographers, The driver of the car in which the couple was traveling drove the car at high speeds on the roads of Paris. He lost control and the car ended up crashing into a tunnel. This incident caused the death of Dodi Fayed and the driver of the car. Princess Diana later died from the injuries she had sustained. The people could not believe their icon, the people's princess, was no more, and they mourned Diana in their millions. Her premature demise led many people to call for the abolition of the paparazzi and doubt the influence of celebrity. This remains one of the tragic scenes or events that vividly depict the implications of the obsession with fame, as well as disregard for the right to privacy. Diana's legacy is one of compassion, of breaking the mold of royalty, and of the tragic end to a life that was never meant to be in the public eye. Her death, caught in the headlights of paparazzi, serves as a warning of how celebrity culture can consume even the most beloved figures. Thank you for revealing the stills of the past with us. If you enjoyed this story, you'll love these. Remember, behind every still, a story unfolds.